Hello, my name is Bhumika. I am your life and relationship coach. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so. Every week I come out with 1 or 2 videos that would really help you with your life and relationship matters in a very practical manner. So feel free to subscribe, like and share if you feel that these videos would be useful to someone else. Enough about that. Let's get into today's topic, which is relationship red flags. Now, every time in the past I've looked on Google, the box standard things that I come out with, or at least comes out in the research, are the top 5 or 10 sort of toxic and abusive behaviors in relationships, which are mostly classed as red flags. Let me tell you this, abuse and toxicity is not at all a red flag. It's a complete no-go for a relationship. Red flags are actually when you've assessed that your relationship doesn't have abuse and toxicity and you're now ready to take that next step, or you are in a committed relationship where you've been with your partner for years and you start to sort of feel that disconnect, something doesn't feel right. That's where the red flags really come up. Abuse is not a red flag. I will be doing a separate video on that at some point, so please keep your eyes peeled and subscribe to my channel. And please know that any form of abuse is not acceptable. So moving on to the actual red flags. Now, if you do see me looking over that side, it's because I have some notes and I want to make sure that I stick to the points so I don't go blabbering on for minutes for no reason, because I do have a tendency to do that, don't we all? So the red flags are obviously the sort of things that make you feel that something in your relationship isn't ticking along and you're not really feeling happy or generally on the same page about it. According to me, there are top 7 red flags that I can tell you will genuinely help you practically in your life and in your relationship. So either you see those red flags or you start to work on them as you see 1 or 2 of them. Because these red flags don't mean that you always dump the person. It usually means that there are ways to work on them. But if they are a lot and it's just too much for you, then it may be time to get therapy, or it may be time to call it quits. I always give that advice because I don't want anyone to think that you are stuck in a relationship. You never are. So let's get into those 7 key red flags in a relationship. The first one is if they stop pursuing you. So let's say you have been with somebody for a few months now, you've moved in, and suddenly you feel that you're the only one planning dates, or you're the only one paying the bills. And this happens with men a lot, which really saddens me, because women, we ought to start paying for our men too. Okay, so if you feel that they've sort of stopped making an effort now that you've moved in together, or you're engaged, or you've been married for a few years and you've got kids, and when that effort making stops, it really does feel that you're sort of dragging yourself through a relationship, because there is no excitement and activity that makes you feel the sort of the butterflies, or so to speak, the energy that you felt early on in the relationship, you know, the click that we say. So if one or both of you have stopped pursuing each other, it's time to have an honest conversation, look at taking therapy, or just sort of understanding why that is happening. Maybe you guys have moved or grown apart. So there are real conversations to have. That's a real red flag. The first one, if you have stopped pursuing each other and the relationship, no matter how long you've been with each other. The second one, and you will not hear about this or read about this a lot, but in my opinion, if someone is in a relationship with you or starts a relationship with you to sort of, you know, as a competition to show off an ex. Now, this is a very dangerous territory, because usually guys or girls who engage in such manipulative games and start a relationship with you and start showing you off who are still in touch with their exes for that particular reason will end up getting back with that ex. So you want to avoid a heartbreak in this situation, okay? You completely want to stay clear, have an honest conversation of why they are still in touch with their ex. There is absolutely nothing wrong in being friends and being open-minded about it, but you need to know their intention, and you need to have a very comfortable and clear understanding of what it is that is going on there. Okay, so if there is any doubt, do not always think that you're being insecure or you're being jealous. It happens a lot with men as well. If you're uncomfortable and if you have doubts, do have an honest conversation. Again, this is assuming that there is no toxicity and jealousy in your relationship with your partner, and this is just you assessing why they are so consistently in touch with their ex if there is no child involved. All right, the third one is that despite the commitment that the both of you have, there seems to be double standards. Now, this happens a lot when you've been with someone for a while and the person you feel is starting to take you for granted. For example, a guy would be very happy to go on Friday night drinks with his work colleagues and then carry on the night out with his mates. However, if you were to do the same, they would feel a bit jealous or a bit unhappy about it. So this is where they're sort of somehow taking your independence away and expecting you to have another role in the relationship than the equal partnership role. Now, this could be vice versa. So it could be a woman feeling this way about a man. And if so, again, have an open and honest conversation. Where there are duplicitous sort of roles and double standards in relationships, they can eventually become either toxic or abusive. So you want to steer clear and have an honest conversation around this third point, and get therapy. Again, if you're in a long-term committed marriage with kids and this is becoming an overwhelming issue because either of you is feeling the pressure or the anxiety of consistently being, pressed against the wall, then please get help. The fourth thing is that your friends and family feel that something is off. Now, very often, what annoys me about our dear friends and family is that they will not tell you when you're in a relationship with someone whether they like that person or not. It's only after you break up they might come out and say, well, I never really thought that person was good for you anyway. So, have an open conversation with your family and friends. Sit them down and ask them genuinely with an interest to understand if they are completely happy with the partner and if they have any concerns. Make sure that all the concerns, or any concern if at all they have, is basically taken care of before you proceed into anything further in the relationship, because it is extremely important to address those concerns. The fifth thing, interestingly, is having different sexual drive. It is extremely important to be on the same page when it concerns sexual drive. And of course, there are ways to work around it. So if you have a high drive, but your partner has a low drive, there are ways to work around it, which is mutual, amicable, and respectful. However, this is a conversation to have had. If you and your partner are hesitant to have this conversation when you've recognized that there is an early mismatch, then you will end up resenting each other. One or the other party will feel dissatisfied, and eventually there will be an emotional and physical disconnect. So please do not let this become a problem. All of us have different drives, and so please, if that is the case, have the heart and have the mind, open mind, to just speak with your partner about it and explain to them what it is that would make you feel happy. There are ways, guys, trust me when I say it, to make it work with different levels of intimacy. I will be doing a video on that as well, so make sure you subscribe so when it's out you'll get a notification. All right, the sixth thing is if they are too secretive and not that forthcoming. And this often is a problem in early relationships, when you're still trying to date someone or sort of trying to take that next step, and suddenly you hear a few things about them from their co-workers or their family members or friends, and you're like, I never knew about this. I mean, that is important information that you could have used. Now, I'm not saying use these information that people give you as a judgment, and this is exactly why I think many people, men and women, tend to be secretive, is because they don't know how the other person is going to react. And one thing we're all afraid of is judgment. So make sure you're not judging your partner at all, so they are comfortable in communicating with you better. But if you have been comforting, if you have been open and non-judgmental, and you still find that they are secretive and not communicating with you, then address this issue with them. Let them know that you will at some point find it difficult to trust them, because open communication is the only genuine way to build trust in a relationship. Okay? And my seventh and the last point here is, when one or both of you are unable to reach compromises and support each other, this is a red flag. This is not just a generic relationship issue, it's a red flag. If you have found yourself to be the one making most of the compromises and sacrifices in a relationship, you will start to feel burnt out and resentful. If you are feeling that way, it is again time, no matter the duration of your relationship, it is time to have that open and honest conversation with them. Take help if you are both interested and committed towards each other. If it feels that the other party is not taking an interest in either getting help or stepping up, then it is a conversation again you need to have with yourself and them with regards to the future of the relationship. I hope that this is useful to you. These are very practical steps that you can actually, assess at any point in your relationship. So please make sure that you are not just dragging your feet through a relationship and you're truly enjoying what can be a blissful, happy life with your partner. I say a good work is a teamwork, right? So if you and your partner can work as a team and do things equally, sometimes more you, sometimes more them, more or less you're both giving each other equal respect and time and everything that you need, then it will be surely a successful relationship. I hope this was useful. Please subscribe my channel, like and share if you feel that anyone needs to hear this message loud and clear, and I will see you next time. Thank you.